It took 2 days for us to step away from this, and for the diehards not to have to deal with elements like this. It was well worth the wait. We enter the month of May 20 degrees warmer with a pitching duel to heat things up even more. The Nationals hand the ball to their hard-throwing ace, coming off his best start of the season. The Phillies take the field behind Cliff, who has been strong at home and even stronger against the boys from Washington. The headlining pitching matchup in all of baseball tonight comes your way from Citizens Bank Park right now. The Phillies have called this day Jersey Day. You might go to the Mitchell & Ness store in left center field to find your favorite Phillies jersey from this era or an era from before. It's a great place to shop, and it's a great place to get ready for tonight's ball game. It's game one of a three-game series between the Phillies and the Washington Nationals. And because of the rain the last couple of days and the off day, the Phillies have realigned the pitching for this series. So that means it'll be Lee, Burnett, and Hamels matching up against Strasburg, Roark, and Gio Gonzalez. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. It should be a great weekend of baseball. The Phillies, who come into the month of May at 500, are trying to reestablish home field dominance, and it begins tonight with Cliff Lee.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. These two guys, Strasburg and Lee, tonight, it's going to be an impressive outing. The thing about Lee is he's coming off a tough outing in Arizona, but the thing about him is he can go out and throw any strike at any pitch anytime he wants. He can throw the curveball anytime. This start back in 2009 was his first time he faced against the Nationals. He came out, what an impression. He came out through a complete game shutout. Everything that night, his curveball, his changeup, his fastball in, his fastball away, was working the night, kept these hitters off balance the entire evening.
Well, it's important for him to do that tonight. Now, he's had a little trouble with his command the last couple of outings, so he wants that kind of emotion to lead to these kind of numbers against the Nationals.
Yeah, just for some reason he goes out and he keeps these guys off balance, and that's the key to him tonight, is going out and just hitting his spot, relaxing, not trying to do too much, and kind of pitch backwards. And these guys look cutters in, throw the backdoor curveball, throw the changeup, throw the off-speed inside, keep these guys off balance all night, and don't let them get into good hitters count.
All right, speaking of pitching backwards, Steven Strasburg doesn't normally pitch backwards. He usually powers the ball right by you.
Well, in his first four starts this year, he struggled. He figured out that teams were ambushing, and what I mean by that is the first pitch they were going after his fastball, not getting behind the count and wanting to hit that curveball. So all of a sudden now he starts going out and throwing the first pitch curveball, the changeup, and not using his fastball until later in the count, when all of a sudden these guys will start sitting off speed. But the thing about him, he has such a devastating curveball. When he throws this for strikes, these guys swing and miss. And the good thing about him is that you have to protect his fastball. So people are sitting back, all of a sudden he throws that big curveball, that tremendous changeup, which we call the lane changer. He just has guys off their balance. When he's throwing strikes down in the zone, he's unbelievable.
Jimmy Rollins was talking about Strasburg and what he's able to do. Now, the last three starts against the Phillies, 2-0, 23 innings, 29 strikeouts. He's kind of been in that rhythm the last several starts for the Nationals. We'll see if it carries over again tonight against the Phils as they try to solve Steven Strasburg in Game 1 of this three-game series. Should be a great weekend of baseball. Obviously, Bryce Harper won't be part of it. He's out with an injury. So is Ryan Zimmerman and a couple others for the Nats. We'll get to the lineups and first pitch for tonight's ballgame right after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales Event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Game one of a three-game series, the Phillies and the Washington Nationals. The Phillies have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Nats starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Denard Span. Anthony Rendon, the third baseman, bats second. Jason Worth hits third, followed by Adam LaRoche and Ian Desmond. Danny Espinosa's over at second base. He'll bat sixth. Tyler Moore in left field hits seventh. Jose Lobatone, the catcher, will bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is Strasburg. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cliff Lee. Matt 3-2 at 3.29 earned run average. He's had some starts where he's been really good. He's had other starts where the opposition has been able to square up some baseballs against him.
Yeah, he has. And the thing about Cliff, he's going to be all over the home plate. He's going to be throwing strikes left and right. So guys are going to attack the zone very early. The thing about him tonight that he has to bounce back from the outing against in Arizona is he has to get better control of the pitches.
Career numbers against the Nationals, 6-4 with an ERA of 2.87. Denard Span will lead things off. Overall hitting .233 on the season, and the first pitch of the weekend is in there for a strike. Cliff lifetime 6-4 with a 2.87 ERA. He's averaging a strikeout per inning pitched against the Washington Nationals. Chopper to the right side. Should be an easy play for Utley. One away. Time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, I think the biggest thing right now is don't let Strasburg get in a routine. Once he finds that strike zone, he's very tough to hit. And the Phillies need to play at home with a good attitude and a winning attitude. Seems like they haven't had that a whole lot lately. Go out there and use your crowd behind you as much as you can.
Well, it turned out that it was just a one-game series against the Mets, which they wound up losing. Because of that, the Phillies are now 4-6 here at Citizens Bank Park. Anthony Rendon is the batter. Rendon takes a strike. He was 5 for 10 in the last series for the Nationals. And he has moved from second base over to third base with the injury to Ryan Zimmerman. Zimmerman injured his thumb on the 12th of April. He injured his right thumb. Bryce Harper injured his left thumb. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 1-2. Rendon overall hitting .316, 4 home runs, 20 runs batted in. And a cutter that just missed. He's going to need that pitch.
Yeah, he is. And that's one thing I found in Arizona. He was making some quality pitches. He was kind of getting squeezed a little bit. I don't know if the umpires are giving up on it late, but he has that late break with that cutter and the front door sinker.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to third, backhanded by Ashe. Gets his bearings, and a one-hop to throw in time, 2 outs. It turned out to be a fairly comfortable throw, even though he one-hopped it.
It did. He got such a good jump, he almost overran it, but he did give Ryan a nice long hop, which you'll see a lot of third basemen will use that grass, or if they're playing on turf, to give a nice easy hop to first base.
So 7 pitches, 2 outs, and here comes Jason Worth, the former Phil. Overall, Jason's hitting .288 with 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in. He's hit very well against Cliff Lee during his career. 28 at-bats against him. He's 10 for 28. Cliff starts him off with a fastball at the knees. It's 0-1. Jason did not always have good success against the Phillies in his first couple of years with Washington. Last year, though, a little different story. At .295 against the Phils. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And a lot has to do with him wanting to come back here and do extremely well and show that they should have signed him for a longer deal or whatever it may be. That it tends to happen with a lot of players that go back to a place where they absolutely love playing and won a championship with.
Well, he certainly helped the Phillies win that 2008 World Championship. And even get back to the World Series in 2009. Those are his numbers here at this ballpark. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And he fouls it back toward the Hall of Fame club. As is normally the case, Jason Worth will see a lot of pitches. He's already seen 4. This is 5. And it's 2-2. Just something about him and just something about certain hitters. They'll just run deep counts, or they may foul a few pitches off before the result is finished off. Out toward right center. That's pretty well hit. On the run is Revere. So is Bird. It's tailing away from both. And Bird's able to track it down. And the side is retired. So Cliff Lee uses 13 pitches to get through the top of the first. On to the bottom of the first. Nationals nothing. Phillies coming up. Nationals have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup for tonight's ball game. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd. Dominic Brown's in left field. He'll bat sixth. Carlos Ruiz will bat seventh. Hitting eighth is Cody Ashe. He's at third base. At batting ninth is Cliff Lee, and they'll face 25-year-old right-hander Steven Strasburg. Overall 2-2, an ERA of 4.24. Like Cliff Lee, he's had outings this year where he's gotten hit pretty hard, and he's had other outings where he's dominated.
Yeah, and the time he's getting hit hard is when he's up in the zone. His fastball gets flat. His curveball is just a little spinner. Doesn't have that hard break to it. The thing about him this year is his velocity says anywhere between 95 and 103. He's only topped out about 95 this year, and what he's doing, he's backed off a little bit, and he's trying to use the corners instead of trying to overpower guys.
Well, he's had very good numbers against the Phillies, as you can see there. Last year, 29 strikeouts during his outings against the Phils. And the Phillies lineup hit just 186 against him. Ben Revere will lead things off. Revere was 0 for 4 in the game against the Mets the other night. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Ben has 2 hits lifetime against Strasburg. You see what he's done in his last 8 games against the Nationals. Chopper over the mound, and Espinosa charges and throws him out. 2 pitches, 1 away. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Rollins also was 0 for 4 against the Mets. His average now at 250 for the year. He's been trying to get to 2,200 hits for quite some time. He's locked in at 2,199 for his career. And he hits one in the air to right field. Jason Worth is there. And Worth backpedals toward the track, and there are 2 outs. Well, time now for our Geico quote of the day. It's Steven Strasburg talking about his pitching approach. I'm just trying to make quality pitches and not be necessarily overly aggressive by throwing the heater down the middle and challenging them. I'm just trying to make my pitches from the first pitch on. Is that a change in philosophy for him?
No, well, I think when he was throwing that 103 miles an hour, he could get away with throwing it up in the zone and guys not getting on top of it and being able to have a good swing at it. Now he's 95, 94, and now he realizes he has to live on the corners.
Here's Chase Utley, and Utley takes off the outside corner. Now with the thought in mind that he can still dial it up if he needs to.
Let's just hope he dials it up early in the count, and not when you have no balls, 2 strikes, or a 1-2 count.
1 ball and 1 strike. Just like Jason Worth, the third batter for the Nationals. Chase Utley thought that pitch was low. Called by Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire. One and 2. Mentioned Jim Reynolds is behind the plate for tonight's ball game. Over at first base is Manny Gonzalez. Sean Barber is at second, and the crew chief, Fielding Colbreth, is around at third. Reynolds and Colbreth are the veterans of this umpiring crew. There's that curveball. Ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the last couple of starts, which included a double-digit strikeout day, his last time out, Strasburg has used the fastball 58% of the time. But look what the opposition's hitting, Matt, against the curveball. Yeah,
and I think that has a lot to do with the first pitch curveball. Guys gearing up for the fastball, take that big swing, thinking it's a fastball, and overswinging at the curveball.
There's a changeup, and it's 2-2. It is odd to see a changeup come in at 90. The separation used to be 100, 99, and then 90 between the fastball and the changeup. Now it's about a 5 or 6 mile an hour difference. Opposite way, and that's going to float it to left. A base hit for Chase Utley. 2-out single. Utley, who came in third in the National League and hitting at .355. I think he's talking to Adam LaRoche about the second strike that was called. I think you just said that was down, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's true that it almost looked like the umpire got surprised with an 89 mile an hour late sinker, thinking it was going to be a 4-seamer or a 2-seamer that was going to stay up in the zone.
We don't talk to umpires that often before games. A lot of times, if there's any issues, we get a chance to talk to them after the games. But you wonder if Jim Reynolds sees Strasburg and Lee and says, all right, I'm gearing up to call strikes tonight.
Possibility.
Ryan Howard's the batter, and Howard takes inside. Howard has only faced Strasburg 4 times during his career. He's 1 for 4 against him. With the injuries that Strasburg has had and Howard has had, they haven't matched up that often. That one is ripped to right field. Worth is over. He's not going to get there. He'll cut it off at the track. That'll hold Utley at third. So the Phillies with back-to-back hits. And they have first and third with 2 outs for Marlon Byrd. Now that was an aggressive swing.
Yeah, it was. And it was actually, if anything, he might have been just a hair quick on the swing because he got outside the ball and kind of hooked a little bit. If he could have kept his hands inside just a hair longer, you're looking at a power rate shot third deck.
Utley going hard. He's not only thinking third, he's thinking I'm going to score. Marlon Byrd is the hitter. He's hit it 5 straight. Marlon played for the Nationals in 05 and 06. The Phillies sent him down to D.C. Takes a curveball, and there you go. Even with runners on first and third, he starts him off with a breaking pitch.
Which you'll see. A power hitter now all of a sudden throwing 95, 96. Chase does a nice job getting the ball to left field. Ryan jumps on a fastball, hits it to right field. Now he's going to change his approach and start going soft early in the count.
Outside, 1-1. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Colette Barlow of Philadelphia. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, and Colette will win $100. One ball, 1 strike to Byrd. down the right field line. Jason Worth is over toward the line, and he dropped the ball. It's a foul ball. He dropped it, but he dropped it in foul territory. My goodness, you don't normally see that happen with Jason Worth.
I think it's probably safe to say you never see it happen. He's one of the better right fielders in the game, and didn't take his eye off it. Just almost closed the glove just a hair too early, and went off the heel of it.
Well, they've scored it at E9. It is the scorer's prerogative on plays like that where an out is not recorded for an outfielder to score it an error or no play. And I think that was rightfully scored. It's the second error of the season for Worth. There is a patch of sunshine out there. 1-2 to Bird. In the dirt, change up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. See if the Phillies can capitalize on that mistake here. It has forced Strasburg to throw an additional pitch. And Bird stays alive. Out toward right field. That's pretty well hit. Worth going back out toward the track. It is gone! A 3-run opposite field home run for Marlon Bird. The Phillies strike first. It's 3-0 Philadelphia here in the bottom of the first inning. And a little new life for Marlon Bird thanks to the error by Jason Worth. Has given the Phils a chance to cash in against Strasburg.
And that's one thing you're talking about, Tom, to see if they can take advantage of the air. Just a fastball, outer half. Marlon just did a nice, easy swing, and that's the biggest thing about a guy who throws extremely hard. The easier swing you take, the ball will bounce off the bat extremely well.
Well, it means that Colette Barlow of Philadelphia has just won $100 thanks to the McDonald home run jackpot. Dominic Brown takes a healthy swing and a miss at the first pitch. It's 0-1. 4 home runs now for Marlon Bird. He's now hit in 6 consecutive games. Off speed pitch, 0-2. Well, that's certainly nice to see. You're right too about that nice easy swing. Swing and a miss. 95 and the high fastball. Side is retired. However, Marlon Bird's opposite field home run right after Jason Worth's error has given the Phillies a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Well, this is just some pretty good swinging by Marlon Bird. A pitch out over the plate. He drives it the other way. And Cliff Lee has a little run support here in the bottom of the first inning as we go to the second. It's the Phillies 3 and the Nationals 0. Or this Monday, I should say, wrap up this homestand with 2 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Monday is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Tuesday is Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. Get some tickets now by going to Phillies.com. All fans coming to Tuesday's ball game will receive that blue ball cap that you just saw on your screen. Compliments of Teva. On to the top of the second. Thanks to Marlon Byrd's 3-run home run, the Phils have the early lead. Adam LaRoche has got a little Paul Bunyan going at him right now. Leads it off. And he fouls the 0-1 off. It's 0-2. In between innings, Jason Worth giving Strasburg a little pat on the back after he missed that fly ball. Those are 3 unearned runs allowed by Strasburg because of the error. Now the 0-2 pitch to LaRoche. Outside. It's a foul ball. Cliff during his career has 23 wins here at Citizens Bank Park in 54 starts. An earned run average of 2.80. In the dirt, 2-2 to LaRoche. All the injuries that the Nationals have had, LaRoche has found himself as the cleanup hitter again, even though at the beginning of the year he was batting 7th.
It seems like every year that Adam just puts up same numbers year after year after year. Very consistent player. The year I played with him, he had a hard time swinging with that right shoulder was bothering him real bad.
And there's a foul ball. It remains 3-2. Seems like every time people write him off, he comes back and puts up 20 or 25 home runs. I think prior to his time with the Nationals, folks had kind of written him off. And then he exploded and earned a contract extension. I think the Phillies have seen enough of him during his career. And a call, strike 3. Cutter on the inside part of the plate. First strikeout for Cliff Lee. And with one out, Ian Desmond's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Well, you guys began the program by talking about the Phils changing up their rotation so that Cliff Lee, A.J. Burnett, and Cole Hamels will pitch in this series against the Washington Nationals. Ryan Sandberg explained that decision earlier today, saying, first and foremost, they kind of play it out over the next couple of weeks to see what the rotation would look like when they do that. They like what they saw, and they also were able to keep the most amount of guys on the closest to their original rest. So Cliff is pitching on his 6th day. A.J. Burnett will pitch on his 6th day, and Cole will be on his 5th day. And they like the way that looked as well. Besides, you get your 3 horses against an NL East team, and that's never a bad thing. So they did say that Kyle Kendrick would not be available out of the bullpen, but Roberto Hernandez would be for this series, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Ryan Sandberg did make sure he emphasized he thinks that Kyle Kendrick has thrown very well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The month of May is kind of a couple of odd spurts in it. Obviously, you can't plan for the weather, but Phillies had Monday and Thursday as days off. And later on this month, they have a Monday and Thursday off days during the week. 2-2 the count to Desmond. Ian Desmond overall, 232 this year, 4 homers and 16 runs batted in. He is the 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner at shortstop, which means that offensively his numbers as the shortstop are the best in the league. Does not take defense into account, although apparently he was the runner-up for the Gold Glove last year at shortstop, even with his early season miscues. Fly ball, shallow right center field. Here comes Marlon Byrd. Ball is way up there. And he makes the catch, 2 outs. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And the Phillies haven't had as many games against the National League East as, let's say, the Braves or even the Nationals. But the Braves have jumped out to a 12-9 record against the East. Matt, so important for teams to control their division. Look at the Marlins, already 6-12 against the National League East.
Yeah, it is, and it's a must to get off to a very good start. Just that way, if you have a tough road trip in 10 days, which we didn't, they had a tremendous road trip against the Dodgers in Arizona and Colorado. You just want to stay as close as you can until everyone starts getting that groove of swinging the bat well, finding your groove in pitching. And if you end up getting a higher winning percentage against this team, it's a bonus. But early April, May, you want to stay almost 500 against these guys just to keep that pack tight.
Danny Espinosa's the batter, switch hitter. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, last year the Phillies won 12 games in the first month of the season. This year 13. 12-15 a year ago, 13-13 this year. There were a lot of positives in the first month. And there's some things that they obviously have to tinker with and get better at as the year moves on. Another foul ball, and it's 1-2. Murph, I thought for a second, just for a second, you might be able to make that play.
Well, I could have made the play probably had I not been cowering behind Alec.
Yeah, Alec doesn't cower. You were cowering, though.
Yeah, I took a step back.
He's a little taller than you are.
That's right.
Now the 1-2 pitch to Espinosa. Curveball swung on it, missed. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Cliff Lee. And the side is retired in order. 6 up, 6 down. So Lee right now nursing a 3-run lead. Done a nice job keeping the Nationals hitters off balance. Espinosa thinking fastball, got the curve as we go to the bottom of the second here at Citizens Bank Park. Generation's best in Chase Utley. We'll examine how Cliff Lee controls the strike zone. Catch Phillies Clubhouse presented by Mercedes-Benz on Comcast Sportsnet. A beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Park to enjoy the ball game with your family. As we go to the home second, it'll be the bottom third, Ruiz, Ashe, and Cliff Lee. 0-1 to Carlos Ruiz. Tonight is Teacher Appreciation Night at Citizens Bank Park. Not only has it been Jersey Day, thanks to the good folks at Majestic, but it's also Teacher Appreciation Night. Carlos lines one toward right center field. Jason Worth is there, and there's one away. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #ATTPhillyPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Hashtag Philly Fan Photo. seen some of the photos that have been coming in the last couple of days. This is pretty sharp ones, and this is as good time as any on a homestand to pop in your favorite photos. There's Cody Ashe. Out toward left, Tyler Moore. 2 outs.
Tom, does that mean we can send pitchers in as well?
Yeah. You may not be eligible to win any prizes.
I wouldn't want to win a prize. We'll take a couple of selfies as you and I stand together.
From behind. That shot we had at the beginning tonight where you and I were getting ready with a center field shot.
There you go.
There's Cliff Lee, 3 for 12 on the year. Chopper back toward the middle. Desmond is there. And at the side is retired. Quick inning for Steven Strasburg. 1, 2, 3. 5-pitch inning. We go to the third. It's the Phillies 3 and the Nationals nothing. On to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, here's the question. What nickname did Nats manager Matt Williams have as a player? I have to admit, I didn't know this one. I'm looking at the answer. I had no idea. Answer will be revealed a little later on. It's as if we're on Jeopardy. Because Matt is writing down an answer as we speak.
Actually, can I buy a vowel?
Not right now.
Okay.
You can't buy one just yet, but you will be able to in a little bit. I will tell you that the word you're looking for, you've written down 3 words. The middle word has the same letter to begin it as the third one. Only folks could see what you're writing right now. We go to the top of the third. Essentially, you wrote the same word that for the second one as you did for the third one.
I figured it sounded good and it looked good.
Tyler Moore will lead it off here at the top of the third. Moore hitting 174, a home run, 2 RBIs. Getting the start today in left field. They've been trying to piece together left field. As Cliff Lee is going to do a little landscaping. Matt Williams, in his first year as the skipper of the Nationals, like every manager, has had to deal with injuries. 16-12 in his first year, coming over from the Diamondbacks. He's had to deal with the injury to his third baseman, Ryan Zimmerman, his catcher, Wilson Ramos, and most recently, his left fielder, Bryce Harper. No balls and 2 strikes to Moore. A little low, 1-2.
And the thing about losing those excellent hitters is that now everyone is hitting in a different spot in the order. And we talked about it with Chooch earlier, hitting seventh, second. These guys feel comfortable hitting certain areas. Now all of a sudden someone who's used to hitting seventh or eighth now moves up in the fifth or sixth. And now all of a sudden they're putting a little extra pressure on themselves, thinking they have to change their swing because they're hitting lower in the order.
That one's lined to left field, and it is gone. He just golfed it right on out of here, and it's a 3-1 ball game. It's the first hit of the night for the Nationals, and home run number 2 for Tyler Moore. Well, the shame of it is the pitch prior to that, Carlos Ruiz held it for a moment. It looked like a pretty close pitch.
This is just a cutter. Actually, it was a pretty good pitch. It probably would have ended up being a ball. Just took a nice easy swing and dropped the barrel of the ball, and that ball got out of here pretty quick.
So a 3-1 ball game, and that'll bring Jose Lobaton to the plate. Lobaton takes outside. Opposite way, that's going to float foul. That's the second ball of the night for that gentleman. Oh, that's a good guy. How about that? Over to third, big hop for Cody Ashley. One away. Steven Strasburg is coming up. Let's check in with Murph, who's got some special guests. Murph?
Well, we certainly do, because we are celebrating teachers today, Teacher Appreciation Night here at Citizens Bank Park. And as part of that, one of the Phillies players, Ben Revere in this case, got to bring his favorite, and in this case, 2 favorite teachers to the ballpark tonight. Say hello to Joan Wood and to Sharon Calhoun. And you guys taught Ben in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So, Joan, I'll ask you, this has to be kind of a thrill to get up here in Philadelphia and know that you made an impact in Ben's life.
Oh, it is so exciting. It's so exciting to be here seeing him play. It's just such an honor to be here tonight.
All right, so Sharon, what everyone wants to know is, we know what kind of ball player he is. What kind of student was Ben back in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade?
Ben was a really hard worker, but he had a goofy side, which I'm sure is still evident. A great smile, great sense of humor, and lots of fun.
You know, you're getting a chance to watch him play, but I know both of you've kind of become Phillies fans because Ben is here. Must be a real thrill to see him out there.
You know, it's so fulfilling just to know that he's achieving his dream. He worked so hard for it, and we're just so proud of him.
But maybe most importantly, guys, is to remember why we're here tonight, and that is to celebrate the teachers, because you probably don't do that enough. I come from a family of teachers, and just what does it mean when a student, whether he's a professional ball player or anything else, remembers you many, many years in the future and says, you helped change my life?
Well, it's very affirming because it validates all those hours and all the caring and the hard work that all teachers put in on behalf of their kids. So, you know, it's really a humbling but wonderful experience.
Ben get in any trouble?
That
you can tell us?
Can't tell you that.
Protecting them right down to the final minutes, guys. Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much. Welcome to Philadelphia, and enjoy your time here. And Tom, we'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. And we showed that shot of all the teachers that were honored from the Delaware Valley here tonight. Their students wrote essays as to why their teachers are so special, and that's why they were selected based on those essays. And it's a nice night as the school year closes. Kennard Span lifts one to right. Bird makes the catch as the school year winds down, not only on the lower levels, but also on the collegiate levels, to remember the teachers that have had such an impact on all of us. And Ben couldn't choose just one. He needed to choose 2. And it was pretty nice. And every year, the Phillies get an opportunity. Jamie Moyer, when he was playing for the Phillies, he had an opportunity to bring one of his teachers on this night to honor him. Here's Anthony Rendon, who grounded out to third his first time up. We're going to look past the fact that Cliff walked the pitcher on 4 pitches.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't even think about that right now because it was probably the 4 worst pitches he's thrown in a while.
I would agree with you on that. 0-2 to Rendon. Strasburg didn't even have to swing the bat. Just let it sit on his shoulder, and he will swing the bat. ...2011, last time he walked a pitcher. Another one over to third. Another one gobbled up by Ashley. Got to hurry to throw, and he does in time to get Rendon. Side is retired. A run, though, on the home run by Tyler Moore. We go to the middle of the third. It's the Phillies 3 and the Nationals 1. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Bottom of the third. Phillies lead at 3-1. A 3-run home run in the first by Marlon Byrd. And the top of the order is due up for the Phils against Steven Strasburg. You see Center City as pretty as ever, and you know the theme tower, as they call it, is being shortened out of the parking lot beyond Citizens Bank Park. You know, you usually see the Phillies logo, the old Phillies logo, on that theme tower. Well, it's going to be shortened. Well, they're in the process of shortening it, so you're going to have even a clearer view of Center City, sitting here at Citizens Bank Park. First pitch to Revere. That's a tough strike, and it's 0-1. Revere grounded out his first time up. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Toward left field. Moore was playing shallow. He's going back on it, and he makes the catch at the track. A little surprising pop right there by Ben Revere. I had it already, Matt. 1,402 at bats without a home run.
It's actually a very nice swing. You can tell he gave a little extra at the very end. He's kind of looking at it like, hey, I might have a chance to get to the warning track.
If that went out, he would have invited his teachers to come to every game.
I would have bought them season tickets. Now he's walking in and says, no, I got jammed. That's all.
There's a curved ball to Jimmy Rollins. He takes high. It's 1-0. Rollins 0 for 1. Now, the long ball is not Ben's game, but he probably would love to have at least one. Check swing. They'll appeal. No swings. He's fielding Colbert. And now 3-0 to Rollins. He's hit them before, just not in the big leagues.
And actually, on another night, it might have been a home run because the wind is blowing left to right tonight.
That's a good point. It certainly surprised the left fielder. And ball 4. Rollins works out a 1-out walk. That'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. Now the Phillies' fantastic auction is underway for a second year. Live now at Phillies.com, featuring great experiences and collectibles, including a chance to play hockey with Matt Stairs at the Wells Fargo Center. An all-expense-paid trip for 2 to San Francisco to see the Phillies play the Giants. That's a great one. And an autographed 1980 Phillies World Champions poster. The fantastic auction benefits Phillies charities. The auction ends Tuesday, May 13th. Check it out now at Phillies.com. In fact, there are 2 days where it ends. One section will end on the 13th. The other section will end on the 14th. Now, is this a full-blown game that folks can play with you?
Yeah, it is. Actually, what it is I was in Atlantic City this morning. We were promoting it. And you just basically go out in the morning at 7 o'clock. John Brazier is actually my right winger, so we're looking for a left winger. It doesn't really matter if you play left wing or right wing. It doesn't matter. It's a matter to go out at 7 o'clock in the morning, play some hockey, have some fun, and over at Wells Fargo.
Wow. That's a great opportunity. Now, this is going to be after the season. It's not during the season. It's after the season?
It'll be after the season, yeah.
So the ice will be back down. They cleaned the ice off the Wells Fargo Center today.
And one of the things for me is very exciting is that I'm actually going to get a chance to be on NHL ice.
That is pretty neat.
Which was my dream.
Are you going to be able to check?
I don't think you're allowed, but I will. And I might even drop the gloves. No, I'm just kidding.
If Brazier doesn't pass you the puck, then he's the one you're going to be dropping the gloves for.
Yeah, but there's always a certain way how you just give like a little slow pass, and we call it the suicide pass. As he's looking back, I'll pay somebody to just level him. But no, it's a great charity, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I just got to make sure I get on ice a few times before that game.
That's pretty neat. Now, one of the other items is a chance to play golf with Jamie. Jamie's decided to go conservative and not go on ice or on a basketball court or anything like that. And again, the Phillies did this last year to raise money for Phillies charities, and the items were tremendous. There's opportunities to get pitching lessons. There's opportunities to get hitting lessons. So check out Phillies.com for more information on the auction. Got a couple weeks to put it together. He fouls it away. It's 0-2. We got to get somebody to provide jerseys, like Stairs team jerseys.
I just got to make sure before we go if I'm allowed to take slap shots or not.
Oh, I think it's whatever happens in the NHL happens in this experience.
Outstanding.
Inside, that goes right past Lobaton, and Rollins will go up to second. A wild pitch. I wasn't sure if that ball hit Utley or not.
Fed on the curveball a little too long, and I don't really know how we get in between the catcher and Chase. Almost like he was expecting to wear it in the leg as well. And an 0-2 pitch, that's when you want to get hit.
Well, he singled the other way his last time up, but he's down on strikes. That was a changeup, and man, was that a fader. That's 2 strikeouts for Strasburg. And they'll bring Ryan Howard to the plate.
It's one of those changeups that really just, like you said, it took off. It ran out of his hand, and those things that you get for those fastballs to hit, that comes in as a changeup, it's hard to make the adjustment.
Well, the Nationals lead the National League in strikeouts with 271. So if you see the team with percentage, and this is all part of our Mazda leaders, the Nationals are at 22.1. Mariners, because of Felix Hernandez, in a lot of ways, at 22.2. Ryan Howard's the batter. Howard takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. I think we're seeing what you talked about. Strasburg pitching backwards to start the at-bats for some of these hitters.
Well, and honestly, it started off with Ben hitting that ball to left field deep. Then all of a sudden you start off Jimmy with a couple of off-speed pitches, Chase with a couple of off-speed pitches as well. Now it just started Ryan off with a big curveball.
Howard singled his first time up. Inside, 1-1. Little dribbler in front of the plate. Lobaton makes the play, and he flips casually to first. The side is retired. Phillies do get a runner in scoring position. That's Rollins. He's left there, but they do not score. No runs, no hits. One man left. We go to the fourth. It's 3-1 Phils. Five started. Then Sunday is a special 3:05 first pitch, special game time, and it's StubHub Mother's Appreciation Day. And you see the derby hats that those ladies are wearing off the first base side? Well, all women 15 and older will receive those derby hats, compliments of StubHub. Great matchups throughout the weekend and some great weather as well. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Well, the Kentucky Derby is upon us, so in honor of all that, Mother's Appreciation Day, some of the ladies have been nice enough to model, well, ladies and one man, nice enough to model those hats. I don't know if he realizes, but that's not really for him. Jason Worth will start it off. Worth takes a strike, although it looks pretty good on him. Worth takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. You can always tell by Cliff's body language, even from behind, whether he thinks a pitch is there and disagrees with the umpire. Doesn't say a whole lot to the umpire. But on the 1-1 pitch, he thought that pitch had gotten to the outside part of the plate. Outside, ball 4, second walk issued by Lee. 4 3-ball count so far for Cliff. And with Worth at first, Adam LaRoche will be the batter. LaRoche struck out his first time up. He decides to go with a cutter to even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Live from Citizens Bank Park, the start of a glorious weekend of baseball. Well, with Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. It's game 1 of 3 between the Phillies and the Nationals. Phillies, who dominated the National League East for 5 straight divisional crowns. 2 years ago it was Washington which won the division. Last year it was the Braves. And the Phillies are trying to make a statement early on this season. They've taken a 3-1 lead here in the top of the 4th, but the count is 2-1 to LaRoche. Make it 2-2.
It's funny watching the reaction of pitchers when they think it's a strike inside, and then when the hitters hit the balls way off the plate for strikes.
And a call, strike 3, like that right there.
Exactly.
I think the good thing about you, Matt, is that you can point that out from up here, and you never, ever did anything like that.
This is the cutter that started outer half, and it didn't cut a whole lot. It's just enough to get outside. And Adams said, really? Didn't like it.
I think he said that pitch was outside. Yeah. He had Desmond flied out to right his first time up. At the knees, 0-1. Down the right field line. That's going to float out of play. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Jason Worth will go back to first. Out towards center field. Playable for Ben Revere. Jason Worth goes halfway and then heads back to first, so 2 outs. Remanufactured cartridges may fail, while original HP cartridges are guaranteed to work the first time. Every time with no runs, streaks, or errors. Get yours from WB Mason, an HP preferred partner. Well, here's Espinosa. He struck out his first time. Lee has struck out 3. He is 5 strikeouts away from 1,800 for his career. Would you say he's turned himself into a strikeout pitcher as his career's progressed?
Yeah, because he gets so many swing and misses. He's not an overpowering pitcher, but with the stuff he has, the tremendous changeup and the curveball, and like you were talking on the trip, the adding and subtracting on the fastball and the curveball, he gets to have a lot of swing and misses. So, to me, a strikeout pitcher is a guy that can overpower people. He's turned into be a very good controlled swing and miss pitcher.
And it is an oddity, right, for a guy as he gets older to become more of a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, it does. I mean, but the thing is, he controls every pitch so well that he hits his spots, and hitters they start guessing with what they think he's going to throw a cutter here. No, all of a sudden they throw a curveball. Then hitters start panicking. That's why with 2 strikes you always sit fastball and make the adjustment.
Well, there's a fastball in there for strike. It's 1-2.
Because a lot of times when hitters get in the batter's box with 2 strikes, all right, this guy has a great split finger, he throws a really good curveball, slider, whatever it may be. They get off the fastball, and no one in baseball has quick enough hands to react to a 2-strike fastball when you're sitting off speed. I don't care who you are.
Now you can say that about just about every level, that it sort of trickles away as you get older and progress from amateur to, professional.
That's why you see so many hitters that will take a 3rd strike right down the middle on an off-speed pitch or a fastball because they were looking dead red on something else.
Espinosa grounds it to short. Rollins is there, flips the short way. Side is retired. So Lee is through 4. He's allowed the home run to Tyler Moore, and that's it. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Philadelphia. It's the Phillies 3, Nationals 1. Chevy dealer, ChevyDealer.com. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. And by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales Event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. See a lot of these sunsets as we move forward during this baseball season. Man, we got everything tonight. Perfect setting for a little baseball. Marlon Byrd will lead it off. Byrd hit a 3-run home run his last time up, and he starts him off with a curve. Mentioned that Marlon has hit now in 6 straight. That's going to help everybody if he can find a little power stroke here. Two balls and no strikes. Ground ball foul, and it's 2-1.
Back to the first inning. This is the fastball, middle of the plate. Didn't try to do too much with it. Drove it to right field and put a very nice swing on it.
With that home run, and one tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of Plant 1 Million. For more information, go to phillies.com/redgoesgreen. Marlon roped a home run against the Mets to left field earlier in this homestand, and then that one the opposite way against Strasburg. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Curveball pulled towards short. Desmond backhands, throws low, dug out by LaRoche. Boy, that's a fine play by Adam LaRoche. Desmond has not had a particularly good first month defensively, and his first baseman just saved him.
Adam does that a lot with a lot of infielders. Guys will make tough throws across the infield. He makes these backhand picks look so easy. His technique is perfect. His glove stays on the ground. He comes up to the ball. He's done that for many years, and he really hasn't got a lot of credit over his career of being a great first baseman.
Hand-eye coordination is just remarkable on a play like that. The Nationals as a team have the third most errors with 26 already. 0-1 pitch to Dominic Brown. Well, it's 0-2. Desmond at shortstop has 8. Which means that Matt Williams has had to answer questions not only about his team's injuries, but also about the defense. No 2 pitch to Brown. Swing and a miss at a changeup, and there are 2 outs. That's 3 strikeouts for Strasburg.
It's actually a good changeup. He actually shook off twice the fastball away, knowing his mind he wanted to change up to speed up the bat. Do a nice changeup down low and away.
I guess you're so geared up for 95, 96 with Strasburg that even if you see it coming, it's hard to hold up on a pitch like that. Only his 50th pitch of the night.
He's actually been throwing the ball extremely well and have control of his fastball and changeups. If it wasn't for that error by Worth in the first inning, you're looking at it like basically a 1-0 game. But you called it. You said that's hopefully they can take advantage of this big error in right field. And Marlon Bird came through with that huge 3-run home run in the first.
Guys like Strasburg, when they're on, though, there are very few opportunities. You do have to take advantage of them when you can. Carlos takes strike 2. It's 2-2.
This is the play we were talking in the first inning where Jason went the whole way to his left. Just ended up closing the glove a little early, went off his heel, and next thing you know, Marlon Bird cranked one to right field for a 3-run home run.
We said at the time you don't often see that happen, particularly in a ballpark where an outfielder is comfortable, and he is comfortable in this ballpark. Jason is. 2-2 pitch coming to Ruiz, and opposite way, a base hit. Carlos is now hitting 5 straight. Fans follow every Phillies game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and much more. Download on the App Store. Visit Phillies.com today. 2 outs. Cody Ashe, who flied to left his only time up, is the hitter. Pulls that one down the right field line. It's in for a hit. Ruiz is on his way to third. He'll get there easily. And Cody Ashe's aboard with a 2-out single that follows Ruiz's 2-out base hit. So now first and third for Cliff Lee.
I like in that situation Cody's being aggressive, not necessarily looking for maybe change up. The nice thing about it is he kept his head down the barrel through the zone for a while. He kept that ball fair on a changeup that was low and away.
Well, Cliff was aggressive at his only at bat. He grounded out on the first pitch.
Pretty good chance if he throws a strike, he's going to be aggressive again.
I was going to say, there's not too much of it. I mean, everybody has a game plan, but for a pitcher like Cliff Lee, who likes to hit, his game plan is, I'm going to get a fastball, I'm going after it. May not go far, but I'm going to go after it. And he hits it to a shortstop. And there you go. So the Phillies get a couple of base runners here in the fourth, but they do not score. Completed our first 4 innings of this 3-game series between the Phillies and the Nationals. A quiz answer. All right, Matt, I watched you write this down, so I think you know the answer. What nickname did Nats manager Matt Williams have as a player?
The Carson Crusher.
The Carson Crusher is correct. Congratulations. Log back on thephillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Matt Williams has had other nicknames over the years because of his look, including the Marine, or the Marine Crusher. I've read different names that have been popped up, but I guess as a player, it was the Carson Crusher. We go to the top of the fifth. And you knew that pretty close, too. You knew that almost right off the bat.
I did. About 2 weeks ago, I heard a name about it. They were talking about Matt Williams, and the name was mentioned. And
first pitch to Tyler Moore is taken for a strike. And the reason he was named the Carson Crusher is because he went to Carson High School in Nevada. As Moore floats one into right, a base hit. All right, this is now he's now 6 for 11 against Cliff Lee in his career.
Well, when you step in that batter's box and know that there's not a pitch that can get you out as a hitter, you're very comfortable.
Man's hitting $174 against everybody else.
Well, he'll start every time they play against the Phillies.
Yeah, there were a lot of folks that thought Kevin Franzen would be out in left field tonight. Right-handed hitter against the lefty Cliff Lee. Off to a good start since leaving the Phillies. But Matt Williams, I think, saw the numbers and really saw the power numbers. A couple doubles, couple home runs. A little low, 2 balls and no strikes. Line drive, one hopper right between the legs of Chase Utley. That'll wind up being Chase Utley's first error of the season. don't know if he peaked.
No, he almost hit on the line on one hopper. Just didn't get his glove down in time. No, he didn't peak. It just actually went in inside his leg and his glove.
Well, we mentioned that's his first error of the year. He'd been leading National League second baseman in fielding percentage based on opportunities. Strasburg bunts that first pitch foul. It's 0-1. Strasburg walked on 4 pitches his first time up. It's the first time Cliff Lee has ever walked the opposing pitcher on 4 pitches. It's remarkable. Strasburg gets the bunt down, so the sacrifice is successful. And that puts runners at second and third with 1 man down. 1-4 on the putout. And here's Denard Span, who is 0 for 2.
This is usually second and third with a left-hander facing the left-hander. You want to try to keep the ball on him so he doesn't get his hand extended. And if he gets jammed and hits a weak ground ball to the right side, you'll take that. But you try to keep a lefty away from getting his arms extended and driving the ball into the gaps.
Not really sure what happened there.
Span was calling timeout.
Span's not happy about it. Cliff Lee generally doesn't care. 1 ball and no strikes. Jim Reynolds does not have to grant time. And now there's a little cat and mouse game going on. Lee's like, come on, let's go. Balls and no strikes. Ground ball right side. Utley to his left. A run will score, so it's a 1-run game. They get the out. And an RBI for Span. And that'll be an unearned run. And Span and Lee are having words here. Jim Reynolds went out to talk to Cliff Lee, and Span's pushing away Carlos Ruiz. It's as if he just wants to have a conversation. And the bench is clear ever so casually. And Span now has to be leaned away by Jim Reynolds. And here come the bullpens for both teams. Carlos Ruiz was going in to help separate Span from his pitcher, and Span was like pushing him off, saying, wait, hold on a second, I just want to have a talk with him. Well, you just can't have a talk with him in the middle of a game. Look at Lee.
Sit down, Jason!
And now the umpires will push everybody back to where they need to be. There's Span going off, and Jim Reynolds was in front of Cliff Lee saying something to him. And it's right about the home plate area. Right there, they pass each other. Right by the home plate area is where Span throws his gum away. And then comes out and says something to Lee. This is the original pitch where he was asking for time, and then Lee went whoop right in. And there's Span staring at Cliff Lee. Come on, man. Now, Jim Reynolds had his lineup card out. Has he ejected Denard Span from this ballgame, you think?
No, I wouldn't think so, unless they put warnings down.
Maybe it was warnings. That could be it. You're right. No, order has been restored. Runner at third. It's a 3-2 ball game. And Anthony Rendon, who's 0 for 2. Takes the first pitch over for a strike. It's 0-1. You could sit here and say one thing or the other. In all honesty, Span should have just walked back to the dugout. I mean, whether Lee was saying something or not, I'm not sure, but he looked like he was just having a conversation with Jim Reynolds.
Yeah, and it looks like Cliff might have made a comment to Span, like, I'm not trying to hit you, or just get in the batter's box, let's go.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says the first base umpire. 1-2. Batone's over at third. And a line drive caught by Chase Utley in the side is retired. An unearned run scores in the inning for the Nationals. They leave one over at third. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Phillies lead is down to 1. Broadcast booth as the Phillies take on the Nationals. Sundays with Schmidt this Sunday at 3 on Comcast Sportsnet. Cliff Lee was chatting with the rest of the starting pitchers as he went into the dugout. Kind of shrugged off a few times, said, I don't know. A little verbal spat with Denard Span.
Be interested to see Jim Reynolds went out to the mound and had a talk with Strasburg. At times they'll go out and say benches got warnings, but you can still pitch inside. And that's what happens when benches get warned. People think they can't throw inside in case they hit somebody by mistake. But from that, what I've seen, I don't understand why they'd be benches warned in that situation.
You wonder if that's going to carry over for the rest of the weekend, too.
Yeah, they'll keep an eye on it. I mean, that's... Span wasn't very happy because he stepped out in the middle of the pitch. Lee finished his pitch, was up and in. So what?
1-2 to Ben Revere. He flied out toward the track and left his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ben is 0 for 2 tonight. Has 14 hits in his last 36 at-bats against the Nationals. opposite way again. And now 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th, and here comes Jimmy Rollins. Well, Murph was talking before about the rotation being lined up the way it is. I kind of like what Ryan Sandberg and Bob McClure have decided to do, to kind of line up the Phillies, you know, what you would call their best 3 pitchers against the Washington Nationals, sort of set a tone, you know, for the rest of the season. That they realize how important these divisional games are.
And I like a setup, and it just doesn't work for this series alone. Now all of a sudden when they go to New York, it carries over as well. You know, so now you're going to have your best 3 pitchers facing the Nationals. It'll probably work out to where your best 3 pitchers will probably pitch in New York because they have the 2 games in Toronto. So you would think that Kendrick, actually no, AJ gets that last game in Toronto.
Right.
So, but you
Leo pitched game 1,
yeah.
Toronto. AJ pitched game 2, but then you have Hamels game 3, and then Kendrick game 1 in New York, and then Kendrick game 2 in New York. But I think, as Murph said, and what Ryan Sandberg said today, is that they did look ahead to see how things lined up as the month moved on. Breaking ball, and Rollins is struck out. That's 4 strikeouts for Strasburg. And Chase Utley's coming up.
Jimmy kind of reacted to this like it was going to be a changeup almost. And he stepped in the bucket, took the big curveball. That's what you call the 9-1-1 swing when you look for something different, and all of a sudden you try to react to it. And just hope to God you foul it off.
Well, he struck out his last time up, but he's 1 for 2.
Yeah, I was mixed up with the pitching because I forgot there was a home-and-home series against the Blue Jays.
Right. Not just 2 games. We got 4 against the Blue Jays.
Which I've never seen a home-and-home series before.
Third ball. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Jared Saltalamacchia has homered for the Marlins. They lead the Dodgers 2-0. That game's in the top of the 5th. He fouls off a fastball. It's 2-1. Strasburg was the #1 overall pick in 2009. One of 2 that the Nationals had in back-to-back years. The other was Bryce Harper. So much invested in the first round picks for any team, but so much more invested into a franchise that's struggling in that #1 overall pick. It wasn't surprising that he was the #1 overall pick the year that the Nationals took him, based on his year with San Diego State. Utley pops it up. That'll be on the right side of the infield. Espinosa comes in a few steps, and that'll do it for the Phillies here in the 5th inning. So 5 innings in the books here at Citizens Bank Park. Good ball game. We go to the 6th. It's a 3-2 Phillies lead. Philly of the week is taking the field with confidence in 2014. As usual, Carlos has been great defensively for the Phillies behind the plates. As the month of April came to an end, Carlos's bat was just getting started. Balls are flying off his bat for average, and extra base hits are coming in bunches, including 6 during the series in LA alone. His efforts earned him National League Player of the Week honors, and they're brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Pretty good honor for Carlos Ruiz, and well-deserved. Steve Henderson, his hitting coach, was presenting him with his award for the National League Player of the Week. As we go to the top of the 6th, Carlos has a base hit. He's hitting .303. He's raised his average from .204 in the 19th of April to .303 where it is now. We start the top of the 6th. Jason Worth takes a fastball. It's 0-1.
And it's funny how you go back to the old Carlos of what got him there and doing some small tee work. Getting that tee back in his zone, getting close to him, keeping his hands inside the ball, and just trusting his hands. And hitting the ball where it's pitched, and that's all he's done. I shouldn't say that's all he's done, because it's unbelievable what he's done over the last little while.
And he's since that time, he's continued to do it. Yeah. 0-2 to Worth. Worth walked his last time up. He flied to right his first time. And he hits that one back through the middle, a base hit. So he's aboard for the second time tonight. That's only the 3rd hit allowed by Lee. And that'll bring Adam LaRoche to the plate. Pitches by inning for Cliff. Over to first, scooped up by Howard. He applies the tag to Worth, and there are 2 outs. Jason Worth was just trying to be coy there, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if Jason was trying to read that with the short hop, would Ryan go touch the base first, then throw the second, which would kill the force play. But Ryan came off, made a very nice short hop, and saw Jason coming back, tagged him. 3U, double play.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm sure you have.
Well, a lot of times the runners will think, okay, they're going to go back and tag the base and throw to first base.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it either.
So he's thinking I can at least get back to first. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Desmond flied to right. He also flied to center. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Which is an interesting play because usually Ryan has a hard time throwing
right
to second base. So you would think that the runner would continue going to second base and maybe draw a bad throw.
I always think that with Ryan, and I guess it's because we've watched him all these years. I mean, he continually works at the game, you know, and for years. And even now, there are times when he has trouble throwing that ball to second base. I always think that, you know, if you're stealing a base and the pitcher has you picked off, I would keep on going.
As you should.
Curveball whacked foul up the third base line.
And it doesn't matter if it's Ryan Howard or Adam LaRoche, who was playing first base. You just go towards second base, get in the base path a little bit towards the grass, and hopefully they hit you with the ball. That's what you're asking for.
Over to third. Cody Ashley waits back on it. Has time. Throws to first in time. Side is retired. 10 ground ball outs for Cliff Lee. We've played 5.5. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Ryan Howard is due to lead things off for the Phils.
With that 1-run lead, still 3-2. And guys, you know, the Washington Nationals, many people thought were the most disappointing team in baseball a year ago, because that was coming off a 2012 season where they really dominated the NL East, got themselves to the postseason for the first time since the team was back in Washington. There you see 98-64 in 2012, but 86-76 in 2013, 10 games back of the Atlanta Braves. And, you know, that was even with a furious finish. So the franchise itself, guys, talked about trying to get back to winning ways, back to the way they were in 2012. And, you know, they're off to a little bit of a slow start early in April. They're starting to turn things around right now, but that has been their focus, to play baseball like they did, guys, back in 2012.
Yeah, Murph, 16-12, even with all the injuries, you know, there have been times during this month where they have stammered a little bit. Mike Rizzo, after last season, had to be happy with they played the second half of the year, but had to revamp a lot of things, including his managerial post, because Davey Johnson retired. And a lot of people thought that he had his sights set on Matt Williams from the get-go. They also were trying to shore up their rotation, even though from a distance their rotation looked pretty good, but they acquired Doug Fister from the Tigers. Now he pitched tonight against the Reading Titans, so he's on his way back. And they've also made a couple of other smaller adjustments to their roster as well. But I would agree with that. I think they were a disappointment last year, not winning the division or getting to the postseason.
I would too, and especially the year they had prior to that. They were just such a powerhouse, and coming out and not repeating, it has to be disappointing to an organization knowing that you had the pieces and it just didn't work out.
You know, guys, one of the most difficult things in sports, and Matt, certainly you would understand this, is getting back to that level of excellence that you have a year before. It's got to be hard for the players, just because of human nature, to rev back up. That's why the Phils run from 2006 on for that 5-year span was so impressive, because they were able to stay on top. And the Nationals saw last year just how difficult that can be.
Yeah, it really is. When you have a run that long, you change the other organizations how they're going to approach you guys from now on. They're going to go out and bring in different left-handed pitchers to shut down these left-handed power hitters. You're going to strengthen your bullpen. You're going to strengthen your bench because of your closer might be right-hander or left-hander. So it kind of just changes the complete outlook of a team who you're chasing through.
Well, when the Phillies won the division in 2007, and then came back and not only won the division in 2008, had a close with some ferocity in September, and then to win a world championship, returning to the World Series in 2009.
Yeah,
that's hard to do. There's a strike to Bird. It's 2-1. Marlin hit a 3-run home run his first time up to right field. So he's 1 for 2 tonight. 3 balls, 1 strike to Bird. think it also goes back to what the Braves did in their 14-year run of making it to the postseason. That's remarkable. Curveball hit it to left field. A base hit for Bird, his second hit of the night. That was a case where he just kept his hands back and was able to loop it into left.
Yeah, it was. He had a nice swing to 3-1 fastball. Fell over to the right, stayed back, got a curveball up in the zone, and didn't try to do too much with it. And that's the nice thing about his home run he hit against the Mets the other day was a reaction fastball, base to left field. Home run to right, reaction fastball away, stayed through the ball. There was just a reaction and hitting the ball and hitting mistakes with the curveball up in the zone.
Dominic Brown 0 for 2 tonight. It was last May where Dominic's power production really picked up. It helped him earn a spot on the All-Star team. He has only one home run so far this season. His average at 247. To figure that he's due to get hot. Finished with 27 home runs last year. As Bird at first, one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Has a very short lead over at first.
It's very interesting that they're holding him that close, especially when Strasburg's very quick to home plate and extremely hard to steal off of. It's like when I'm at first base and they try to pick me off, I'm like, these guys must not read a media guide or something.
Change up 1-2.
So far in the 2 at-bats and this at-bat, Steve Brown hasn't made an adjustment to that changeup. He's reacting to it's a fastball every time. He just needs to slow his body down and see the ball instead of reacting to the arm action. And that's what he's getting caught up to right now. This would be another good time for a changeup because he's out of control with the swing right now.
And he pulls it towards second base, and that could be 2. A high flip to second for 1. And they are indeed able to turn the double play. 4-6-3, and the side is retired. Well, it was something soft, and Brown rolled over on it. We'll go to the 7th in a 1-run game. by AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Now, as we go to the top of the 7th inning, it's time to take a look at our Honda game summary. In a lot of ways, it's been about the pitching tonight. Steven Strasburg, 5 strikeouts over 6, 3 unearned runs. Cliff Lee, 3 strikeouts over 6, but only 2 hits allowed, and he's allowed just 1 earned run so far. An error by Jason Worth opened the door for that 3-run first for the Phils, and an error by Chase Utley opened the door for one of the 2 runs that the Nationals have picked up tonight.
And besides Marlin getting that timely home run, the key to this game so far has been the 2 costly errors.
Absolutely. Danny Espinosa will lead it off. It'll be Espinosa, Moore, and Lobaton against Cliff Lee. First pitch, a fastball. It's 0-1.
Really shouldn't refer to Chase's as a costly error. I mean, it is an unearned run, but Jason Worth's error in the first inning is huge at this point right now.
Yeah, because Lee was able to bounce back. He did allow 1 of the runs to score. But he also left the guy over at third base, too. 1 ball, 1 strike to Espinosa. Back toward the middle, just past Lee's glove, and it trickles into center field. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal. And that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship. All right, how do you pitch Tyler Moore? 6 for 11 now against Lee, with 3 doubles and 2 home runs.
Well, the home run to left was inside. The base hit to right was down outer half. Throwing right down the middle. And
see what happens.
Hopefully hits up the middle to an infielder. And that's what a lot of people talked about when Tony Gwynn was in his prime. How do you get him out? Throw it down the middle and let him get himself out, because you don't know where to hit it.
It is true. But who would have thought that Tyler Moore would be that much of a problem? Now, Tony Gwynn, on the other hand, you'd understand there would be a problem there.
Yeah, but when you have stats against a guy like this, it's, as a pitcher, you're confused because you've probably thrown him some nasty pitches, and he's made the adjustments.
In there for strike, 1-1. Bob McClure and Ryan Sandberg are chatting because Lee's at 95 pitches here in the 7th. His spot is due up 3rd in the bottom of the 7th inning. They may get somebody up just to back him up in this inning. Dribbler foul, and it remains 1-2. Bastardo's got his jacket off in the bullpen, so it seems like he's going to start to throw. Mike Adams also putting a piece of gum in his mouth. He's got his glove. He's going to throw as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Moore. Runner goes. Pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to second on 1 hop is not in time. Ruiz is saying that Moore got in his way. And the home plate umpire, Jim Reynolds, just shook his head no. Stolen base and a strikeout. 1 out here in the 7th.
Very nice changeup right here. No, he didn't get it in his way, but besides that, it was a very nice changeup low and away. Threw a couple of fastballs, got him off balance with a changeup. It looked like Carlos just actually slipped on home plate.
The other thing, too, is Espinosa got a really good jump off first.
He went first move.
Well, now Lobaton, who reached on the error by Utley his last time up, also grounded out to 3rd. To the dirt, blocked by Ruiz. 1 ball and no strikes. To the dirt again. 2-0. Can't imagine he's working around him to face the pitcher with 1 out. No, he was just missing. Missing by a lot, though.
Yeah, the first couple pitches, especially the big curveballs, he was missing big time. I would think of first and second, Strasburg is either going to bunt or he's going to get pinch hit for it.
3-1 pitch in there for strike 2. It's 3-2. There's Strasburg. His spot is due up next. He's out of the on-deck circle. Peeking into the dugout. There's nobody really lingering except for Denard Span, the leadoff batter. There's Franzen. He is lingering. 3-2 pitch. And a call. Strike 3. He was just setting him up. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lee. 2 outs here in the 7th. And Strasburg, I believe, is being called back. And here comes Kevin Franzen.
This is a very nice front door two-seamer that froze him, thinking it was going to be a cutter inside. Came back to that front door sinker, and it was a very nice pitch.
So 2 outs. Strasburg's night is done. Kevin Franzen's coming up. And Bob McClure is going to go out to the mound and talk to Lee. All right, well, a lot was made today, Murph, about Kevin Franzen's return. He said he's thankful for the opportunity the Phillies gave him and the Nationals have given him. He also said he was upset about the fact that he was let go by the Phillies.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense on both levels. Certainly the Phillies gave Kevin Franzen a chance again to play in the big leagues, and he got plenty of opportunities in Philadelphia. But the way he was let go was a little bit surprising, I think, to Kevin himself and probably to some fans as well. The Phillies just deciding that they needed a guy that could be a little bit more versatile. That was the explanation. So Kevin opted not to go down to the minor leagues and ends up in Washington, D.C. So it worked out well for Kevin, but as you can imagine, human nature, that's the way it is. A guy comes back to a team that he used to play in, and that he wants to deliver for his new team, and that is exactly the way Kevin Franzen was talking today.
First pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1.
And now he's going to get his chance.
He's got a runner in scoring position. Overall hitting .289. Those are his career numbers as a pinch hitter. He hit under 200 in the second half of the year last year, but hit over 300 in the second half of the year 2 years ago. Out toward right field, Marlon Byrd scampers back to the track. He's there, makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. Lee gets through the 7th. The Nationals will go to their bullpen after we stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. that, we're going to the bottom of the 7th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. A reminder that the LA Angels are coming to town on Tuesday, May 13th. It's your chance to see Mike Trout for the first time in an Angels uniform here at this ballpark. 2 games, the 13th and the 14th. The 13th is a 7:05 start, and Wednesday the 14th is a Citizens Bank Business Person Special and a Modell's Senior Stroll the Bases postgame. By the way, Tuesday, all fans will receive those sunglasses thanks to the Wistar Institute and also Independence Blue Cross and Citizens Bank. Again, tickets are available by going to Phillies.com. Well, the Phillies have gotten into the Nationals bullpen, Matt. The Nationals will bring out Aaron Barrett to take over here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Strasburg was only at 83 pitches, but they decided to go for the tying run. And now they bring Barrett in. A bullpen, by the way, that has a 3.74 ERA so far this year. Carlos Ruiz leads it off.
Aaron's another power guy with a tremendous fastball. We'll top out at 95, but his bread and butter pitch is about a 91-mile-an-hour hard cutter slider.
And Ruiz lines one to right, and Jason Worth makes the catch. 1 out. Hey fans, the next time you're looking to pick up great seats to the game, head to StubHub, where you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including Phillies tickets. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more. Cody Ashe is due up here, and then in the on-deck circle, it's Tony Gwynn. So you would think that Lee is done after 7. Strasburg gets credit for 6. There's Cliff. Looks like his night is complete. Ball and 1 strike to Ashe, who singled his last time up. That one's hit in the air to right center field. Worth on the run. He's not going to get it. It's going to go to the scoreboard. Actually, Span cuts it off on the warning track, and Ashe will stop at second. Second hit of the night, his 4th double. Not really sure whether Jason Worth just didn't see it, or he realized the route wasn't taking him to the baseball, and he kind of peeled off. But that was an odd route. Whatever he was thinking.
Yeah, it was. It almost looked like he thought, first of all, a very nice swing on the changeup, but it almost looked like he thought he was going to be able to cut it off. Next, the ball carried it a little more. And in the outfield, you're taught with the corner outfielders to go straight across. You have the balls that are in front of the center fielder, and the center fielder will go behind to cut it off.
Well, Matt Williams is walking out to the mound, so that's going to be it for Aaron Barrett. He'll go to the left-handers. Tony Gwynn was introduced as a pinch hitter. Phillies are going to counter with John Mayberry. We'll set up the scenarios when we return to Citizens Bank Park. Box score, and for the Phillies, all you have to do is look at Marlon Byrd. Home run, 3 RBIs, 2 for 3 tonight. That's the difference. The Phillies lead it by 1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning, but they are into the Nationals bullpen. John Mayberry Jr., who's listed in the 9 hole as a pinch hitter, has been introduced, and he'll step in for Tony Gwynn. So the Phillies will use 2 hitters for this spot. And the Nationals will bring in left-hander Jerry Blevins, a tall, lanky fellow who has appeared now in his 15th ball game, 16 strikeouts and 12 2/3. Matt, look at the numbers against left-handers.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where this is what his job is to be brought into. He has a really different delivery, tops out at 92, but he also has a curveball, fastball, and change, but he will throw the changeup to the left-handers as well and keep them off balance, which is usually rare. Sorry, Tom, to see a left-hander throw a left-hander changeup.
We'll face the righty in Mayberry, so Mayberry will bat with the runner at second base. The Phillies looking for a little insurance. Cliff Lee goes 7 innings tonight, allows 4 hits and 2 runs. First pitch to Mayberry will have to wait as Blevins turns back towards second. Toyota Major League scoreboard. Giants and the Braves are battling down in Atlanta. It's a 1-1 game. Angel Pagan is homered for the Giants. Mike Minor is pitching in that ball game for the Braves. The home run by Pagan was a leadoff home run, his second one of the year. Inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Just looks like there's something sneaky about in the way he delivers it to the plate.
Yeah, he does. He's a left-hander with a big delivery. He throws about 92, but that's that crossfire that. And I agree, Tom. It looks like Mayberry's getting started really late with that fastball coming in.
Little bloop out toward the right side, and Espinosa's there to make the catch. 2 outs.
That's a big leg kick, but what he does is he keeps that ball in the glove as long as he can and hides the ball extremely well. And what it does is just you're taught as soon as the hand separates from the glove, you pick the ball right away. Well, a lot of pitchers, and like this gentleman here, when he brings it out of his glove, he keeps it behind his glove as long as possible. Which now all of a sudden you react late because you don't see it until it gets above your shoulder.
I think his mom and dad are pretty happy that you called him a gentleman.
That's probably the reason why I couldn't think of his name real quick, so I called him a gentleman. Jerry.
Ben Revere's the batter. He's 0 for 3. Breaking ball, 1-0. I like your honesty, Mr. Stairs.
You will get it.
Revere is grounded out. He's also flied out twice to left. Two balls and no strikes. Nationals don't have anybody else warming up. So if Revere reaches, Rollins looks like he will face Blevins. Back toward the middle, and Desmond's got it. Flips to first in time. Side is retired. So Blevins gets the last two batters here in the 7th. On to the 8th. The Phillies still nursing a 1-run lead. Honda. Visit your local Delaware Valley Honda dealer or shop honda.com. Buy McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And buy the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Top of the 8th inning. Cliff Lee's done after 7. And Mike Adams is out there warming up, getting ready to face the top of the Nationals order. 5th ball game for Adams. 4 to 3rd. 3 strikeouts so far, as he continues to get himself settled back into being on the everyday roster. So it looks like it's his inning. And then the Phillies are hoping to still have that 1-run lead for Papelbon in the 9th. This is the way they envisioned it a year ago, was having Adams in the 8th and Papelbon in the 9th. But Adams, for some of the year, was there, but for a lot of it was out on the disabled list.
And this situation is tremendous because you have Bastardo, who's used to pitching in the 8th inning. If they bring up a tough left-hander, they want to bring in Bastardo to face. So that's why it's so important for the starting pitching to go at least 7 innings. Now the guys in the bullpen know what their situation is and where they're going to be pitching in certain games.
Well, here's Span. He's 0 for 3. Does have an RBI. First pitch is at the knees. It's 0-1. This guy's the key. Keep him off the bags. Opposite way. That's a foul ball. Ooh, boy. By a hair. Nice backup by Dominic Brown. 0-2.
This wasn't foul by much. Wow.
No, Fielding Colbert was trying to stay on it as the ball was trying to find him. No balls and 2 strikes. And he broke his bat. That one is floating fair down the right field line. Marlon Byrd is going to try to cut it off, and Span is already at second. Marlon had a little trouble with it there. How about that? He shatters his bat and he gets a leadoff double here in the 8th. Anthony Rendon is coming up. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy University. And the Dodgers, they got some good news and some bad news on their rotation today. The bad, they announced that Hyunjin Ryu is headed to the DL. He has some shoulder inflammation. But the good, their ace, Clayton Kershaw, is on his way back. The reigning Cy Young winner is going to pitch on Tuesday for L.A. It'll be his first start this regular season since their trip down to Australia. And the Tigers, they announced today that they have signed Joel Hanrahan to a one-year deal. He is coming off of a Tommy John surgery, but they're willing to take that chance. So they expect that he'll start throwing to live batters within the next week, and then he'll do what's equivalent to spring training, about 30 days, and then hopefully the Tigers are hoping that he'll be up and helping out in their bullpen, guys.
Yeah, Murph, when he first started throwing for scouts, he was not at the velocity where he needed to be, and then a couple weeks later, all of a sudden he was throwing in the low 90s, and a lot of teams took a look at him.
Well, you know, that's an injury that we've seen guys come back. Some guys come back even stronger, and he's had such success up here at the big league level that teams are going to be willing to take a chance. The Tigers were the ones who snatched him up.
All right, we appreciate that. Here in the 8th inning, the Phillies bullpen is led by Mike Adams, at least at this point. Span is at second, 0-1 to Rendon. Fouled away, it's 0-2. Balls and 2 strikes to Rendon. Runner goes. Pitch is taken outside. The throw to third is not in time. Of course, Span had him timed perfectly. Even with a good throw, I don't think he had any chance to get him. So now it gets a little tougher for the Phillies with nobody out and a runner at third. 4th stolen base for Denard Span.
That's why it's so important. The pitchers have to change how many times they look to home. Sometimes you can do a long look, 2 look. Sometimes you don't even look to second base. And that's why it's so important to, instead of giving him such an easy third base, is make him earn to get over there.
Phillies have played the infield in. The count 1-2 to Rendon. And he lines one to center field, a base hit. And this ball game is tied at 3 here in the top of the 8th inning. An RBI single. And that's 21 RBIs now for Rendon as Span crosses the plate. Well, another no decision for Cliff Lee. And that'll bring Jason Worth up. One ball and no strikes.
Started with that 0-2 base hit by Span. You got. I know he broke the guy's bat, but it's almost going to make the point where make him go way out of the strike zone with the 0-2 pitch.
Does seem like nothing's ever easy, though, at least the last few years late in these games. Tyler Clippard is in the bullpen for the Nationals. That guy's been a tough pitcher for a number of years now. Low, ball 2. It's 2-0 to Worth. Jake Diekman's going to start the throw in the bullpen for the Phils. That one's over for a strike. It's 2-1.
A lot of things could happen right here. JW, he swings the bat extremely well, good control. Might see a 2-1 hit and run right here.
And the toss over just to slow him up a little bit. McClure just checking to see where Diekman is. You got LaRoche up next, so this is probably the last batter for Adams. 3 balls, 1 strike to Jason Worth. Back toward the middle, and Rollins can't get there. Base hit. Rendon stops at second. So 3 straight hits for the Nationals. They have 2 on with nobody out. And Adam LaRoche is coming up to the plate. Well, Worth is now 2 for 3 today with a walk. Here comes Ryan Sandberg. And Jake Diekman's going to come into this ball game with a left-hander LaRoche due up, and the Phillies have very little wiggle room here. They've watched the Nationals tie this up at 3. And they're hoping Diekman can come in and maybe get a strikeout or a ground out to put some outs on the board. So we've got a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. It's a 3-3 ball game. To the 6th inning with Jason Worth at first. Adam LaRoche at the plate, and whoop, 3 unassisted, just like that, double play.
Made a very nice play on the short hop fake throw to second base. Jason thought he was going to come back and tag first base. Tagged him. That's first base. That is your defensive play of the game.
Jake Diekman coming in. That's an excellent effort on your part.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say it, but I did.
As you know, you have the microphone. You can say whatever you want.
No, I can't.
Well, here's LaRoche with runners on first and second. So they bring Diekman in here against the left-hander. They were hoping Mike Adams could get through the 8th inning, even with the lefty Span leading things off. And Diekman's first pitch, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's fouled into the glove of Ruiz. It's 0-1. last 3 at-bats against Jake Diekman for LaRoche. And a line drive, base hit it to center field. Rounding third, heading for home is Rendon. The throw by Revere is not in time. And the Nationals take a 4-3 lead. 4 straight hits for the Nats here in the 8th inning. This is certainly not the way the Phillies had drawn up the 8th inning here tonight. But it is similar to a lot of 8th innings the last couple of years.
Just a fastball right down the middle of the plate. LaRoche drove the ball back towards the middle. Just like the previous 2 hitters, didn't try to do too much. Stay a big part of the field, hit that ball back up the middle, and 3 consecutive hits. 4 consecutive hits.
4 consecutive hits, yep. And still nobody out here in the 8th. It's 4-3. Nationals on top. One ball and no strikes. Well, the Phillies, at least for the time being, have wasted 7 strong innings from Cliff Lee, who scattered 4 hits and 2 runs. Rendon's got to clean himself off. For some reason, he went in head first at home plate. And a liner to right field. Here comes Marlon Byrd. Tries a diving attempt. Can't get it. And it goes back to the scoreboard. Worth's going to score easily. LaRoche is going to hobble over to third. It's an RBI double, 5 straight hits, and it's now 5-3 Washington.
This is the play right here. The ball hit nice to the right. To do or die, has that little tail at the very end. Just out of the reach of Marlon Byrd. Almost looked like he was going to get it first, just below the glove.
Well, he's fortunate that LaRoche does not run well, because he wound up at third. Any other base runner could have easily scored from first, even though they were holding up to see if that ball would have been caught or not. Well, now it's Espinosa with the Nationals now leading it by 2. They've scored 3 runs here in the 8th. The infield has to come in. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. It really is a remarkable game. I mean, you're humming along. Your starter goes 7, seemingly in control despite all the leadoff base runners that the Nationals had in those 7 innings. And then in the 8th inning, you've got 5 straight hits. It's okay for a pitcher to do that every once in a while. I don't know if it was as close as Espinosa made it seem. It was pretty close.
It was up there too. It's all right to move feet. I'm not a believer of up that high, but rib area, that's fine. Just move their feet and make it an uncomfortable at bat.
1 ball and 1 strike. I think there's a little discomfort right now.
Yeah, that ball has hair on it.
Check swing. They appeal. No swing, says the first base umpire. I believe there's going to be a pinch runner for Adam LaRoche. There is. Nate McLouth is going to come on to pinch run for him. So McLouth will stay in the game. Moore will go over to play first base. So you lose LaRoche's defense. But he obviously wasn't moving all that well over to third on that double.
I was watching him come around second base, and he was actually telling Desmond to stay at second base as he was trotting into third.
2 balls, 1 strike to Espinosa. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
Dickman's got Espinosa dancing everywhere in that batter's box right now. Up and in, down at his feet. He seems like he's trying to overthrow every single pitch, including his fastball and his slider.
Well, it all started with that 0-2 pitch to Span. He doubled down the right field line. Then he stole third and was able to come home easily on a base hit by Rendon. That tied the game. Then Worth singled. LaRoche singled. And Desmond doubled. Swing and a miss. 1 away. First base is unoccupied, but Espinosa turns around and heads back. A little disgruntled cheer by the fans here. 31,000 plus. And here's Tyler Moore. So they're gonna pitch to Moore. Thought they may walk him intentionally to load up the bases.
Yeah, they'll probably pitch around him if they get a couple balls, and then they'll put them on. But
what do we know? 0-1 the count to Moore. Moore is 2 for 3. He's homered. He's singled. Chopper to third, a foul ball. So now it's 0-2. Nationals now with 5 runs on 9 hits. 5 of those hits came here in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. He got it. 97 with that fastball. 2 outs here in the 8th. And that'll bring Lobaton to the plate. All right, Diekman can see his way through this.
This is where Diekman just leaned back and threw it as hard as he could, and actually missed his target by about 6 or 8 inches. But maybe that'll help him believe how good his fastball is and how hard it is to square up at times.
0-1 to Lobaton. Phillies bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Rollins, Utley, and Howard. As you see Hollins and Manship throwing in the bullpen. Well, that's the split tonight between Cliff and the bullpen. Zach Walters is out of the on-deck circle for the Nationals to pinch hit. McLouth's over at third, and Desmond's at second.
It's going to be hard for Carlos when you're calling for a fastball away. Diekman throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball inside to a right-hander. That's not a job I'd like to do right there. Not that one. I mean, catching that is.
I was going to say, your reactions have got to be top-notch.
Yes, they do.
3 balls, 1 strike to Lobaton. And the pitch. Low ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And that'll bring Zach Walters, the pinch hitter, to the plate. So he's going to come up for the pitcher here. 9 men have come to the plate in this inning for the Nationals. Walters' numbers as a pitch hitter for his career overall, he's hitting 167 this year. A couple home runs, 12 runs batted in. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. He's late on a 97. That's where they want him to throw the slider, is in the dirt to see if he can get the hitter to chase it. And he blew those first 2 fastballs by him. Ruiz was able to block it with McLouth at third, Desmond at second, and Lobaton at first. Get a little gas going here.
I would hope so.
And he throws another slider, and it remains 1-2.
Here's that, and go pull the clip.
This is at times. This is where especially Diekman has to trust how the ball's coming out of his hand. If he feels that he's throwing extremely well on the fastball, feels good tonight, then go ahead and shake off Chooch. I know Chooch is the veteran catcher, but sometimes you got to go by how you feel on the mound, not by what the catcher wants to call every time.
There you go. 97. He didn't catch up to any of the fastballs that Diekman threw. He strikes out 3, but it was a damaging inning for the Phillies bullpen. They allow 3 runs. The Nationals take a 2-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th here in Philadelphia. The Nationals have taken a 5-3 lead over the Phillies. Changes for the Nationals with all the substitutions they made in their half of the 8th. Tyler Moore moves from left field to first base. Staying in the game to play left field is Nate McLeod. The new pitcher is right-hander Tyler Clippard in his 15th ball game, 2-2, with an ERA of 2.84. And he'll face Rollins, Utley, and Howard. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. All right, the Phillies, who've led it just about the entire night, now have to come from behind against the Nationals bullpen. We mentioned is 8th in the league in ERA. Clippard delivers high. It's 1-0.
That's one thing they have to do in this 8th inning. Clippard likes to pitch at the top of the zone with his fastball and his changeup. He has a good fastball, but what makes his changeup even better is that he has the same arm slot, and he usually throws at the same height.
Former starting pitcher in the Yankees organization. Traded to the Nationals. Didn't work out as a starting pitcher, but it has worked out as a relief pitcher. And he is a rubber arm. 1 ball and 1 strike. Curveball, and it's 2-1.
I actually faced him when he was a starter with the Yankees. It wasn't fun. He would throw me changeup after changeup, and I would continue to swing and miss.
Better relief pitcher, though, than starting pitcher.
He is.
Well, there was that changeup, and now it's 3-1 to Rollins.
But at times he can be very wild over the bullpen, overthrowing that fastball and the changeup.
Rollins takes a fastball, and it's 3-2. Utley waits. 3-2 pitch. Outside and high, ball 4. Turned out to be a good at bat by Rollins.
And I did. I really like the 3-1 count. Knowing the scouting report on Clippers that he can be wild at times with his pitches. Jimmy took a 3-1 fastball right down the middle of the plate. Made him come back, do it 2 times in a row, and he did. Took a nice walk.
So now it brings the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies hitters face Clippard an awful lot during their careers as far as relief pitcher goes. Utley has 3 hits against him. Tonight, Utley's 1 for 3. Change up, and it's 0-1. All right, so he threw 1 curveball to Rollins, and now he throws what looked to be like a curveball there.
Well, he just knows that Chase is such a good fastball hitter. He's doing whatever he can to get Chase out in front of a pitch to hit a ground ball. That's why he starts him off the changeup, comes back with the 12-6 curveball. Don't be surprised if you see another changeup right here. A 1-1 count.
Utley had called time and was granted time. Jim Reynolds. Clippard must have said something to Reynolds, and Reynolds wasn't happy with it. Honestly, I think it might have been a ball anyway. Although he probably heard time as he was ready to deliver it. One ball, one strike. And Utley pulls it through the hole on the right side, a base hit. Rollins will go to second, bobbled momentarily by Worth. So that means the tying run is at first, and Ryan Howard's coming to the plate.
You know, and that's the pitch Clipper has. Clipper doesn't throw a two-seamer. He relies on his changeup to have that late movement so the hitters get out in front. Well, Chase did a nice job of getting out in front of the world, but keeping him through that hole hard. Keeps his head down and puts a nice swing on it.
Great setup, everything.
And he's been so good the whole year because he's been so quiet and just relying on his hands. And knows that he doesn't have to overswing to hit a ball in the ballpark or drive it to the gaps.
Well, Papelbon's going to start getting up to the Phillies bullpen. Phillies have 2 on with nobody out here in the 8th inning. Can they counter what the Nationals did in their half of the 8th? Ryan Howard is the batter. Howard takes low, 1-0. Short lead by Rollins off second. 2-0. That's a good hold right there. Phillies are 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
But now you're in a 2-0 count. Don't think you have to swing because you're ahead in the count. Look for your area in your zone and put a good pass to it.
Popped him up. Desmond took a look at first base. Now the infield fly rule is called. One away. That's partly what you were talking about.
He actually went after a changeup that was up in the zone, but his approach was it was going to be a fastball. Instead of knowing that he could hit the ball at any part of the ballpark, he doesn't have to be too quick with his hands.
Well, here's Marlon Byrd. He's 2 for 3. He's homered and he's single. Again, the tying run is at first. Outfielders are deep for the Nationals, trying to cut off the alleys. Starno and Papelbon. Bird is down on strikes, 2 away. And that'll leave it for Dominic Brown.
That's just one of those curveballs that did not break. It just hung up there. You're thinking it's going to break down, and the next thing you know, it backs up. And since you already committed, it's hard to hold off.
Let's see if Dominic can adjust. 4-6-3 double play his last time. He struck out his first 2 times up. The first pitch. That was a changeup that was up a little bit. He fouled it off to the left side. He's behind 0-1. Now 0-2. Give Clippard some credit. Allowed the first 2 batters to get on board. Rollins with the walk, Utley with the single. But he bared down against the next 2, and now he's ahead 0-2 to Dominic Brown. Got him. Fastball swung on and missed. Side is retired. Phillies leave a couple here in the 8th inning. We've completed 8 innings here at Citizens Bank Park. We go to the 9th with the Phillies down 5-3 to the Nationals. Phillies Baseball Academy is open for business. It includes a trip to Citizens Bank Park. It also includes a Phillies Baseball Academy uniform. It's open for boys and girls aged 6 to 14. And it also has a camper reunion night on the schedule here at a Phil's game. For more information, call 610-520-3400 or go to philliescamps.com. Top of the 9th inning, it's 5-3 Nationals on top. And Antonio Bastardo's coming into the ball game. Bastardo in his 12th game will face the top of the order, Denard Span, Anthony Rendon, and Jason Worth. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire the opposition 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Denard Span 1 for 4. It was his double with the count 0-2 that started the 3-run rally in the 8th. 9 men came to the plate in the inning. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Ooh, I thought he went. Third base umpire Fielding Colbert said no. Well, it's 1 ball and 1 strike. out toward right field. Marlon Byrd is there. And there's one gone here in the ninth. And that'll bring Rendon to the plate. Rendon's RBI single tied the game in the 8th inning. If you're the Phillies, you got to keep it right here. You're going to face Rafael Soriano, the closer for the Nationals. He's already up and warming in the pen. Little different motion for Bastardo this year, particularly over the last few weeks. They've been trying to get him to mix in more of a slide step. Now, you saw the old motion right there, the high leg kick, but at times he has shown, particularly with base runners, sort of a slide step all the time. They feel like he gets more power with that slide step. There it is. Throws a slider, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, and when he has that little slide step, what he does is he actually rotates his hips. Not a whole lot, but he gets his back of his leg and his backside back down behind the pitch when he throws it. Where sometimes when he goes to the high leg kick, it kind of gets lazy. It doesn't really get the drive off it. Plus, what a slide step does, it doesn't give you a chance to get your timing down as a hitter. When you're a lefty or a right, it doesn't matter. And you have that big leg kick, and all of a sudden, it's easier to time as a hitter because as he sits there and as he breaks at the top of the zone, that's when you're breaking. But now as a slide step, it's hard to get your timing down because you don't know when to break.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a high slider. 2 outs.
Or you can do a high leg kick and throw a high slider and make him swing through it.
It is a good idea, though, particularly with base runners, because Bastardo has been, generally slower than most. Jason Worth has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. He was part of the 5 straight hits by the Nationals in the 8th. Two. Bottom third of the order is due up for the Phils in the bottom of the 9th inning. And now the 0-2 pitch coming to Worth. In the dirt. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Phillies have already used Gwynn. They've already used Mayberry. When you're thinking about bats off the bench for the pitcher spot, Jason Worth has been on base 4 times tonight. That's his 3rd hit. 2-out single. And Nate McLouth is coming up.
That's one thing you're going to say about Jason is he's very patient. He can work the count and he can get back into a hitter's count. And he almost has the same type of swing as Chooch. He hits the ball where it's pitched. He can turn on the ball, hit the ball to right field. His bat stays to the zone for quite a while.
His style has not changed at all.
No, it hasn't.
In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Man, this is where you need to bear down. This is the hitter you want. Especially with Desmond up swinging the bat pretty good lately.
Yeah, this guy, McLeod's really struggling. He's hitting a 108. He's 4 for 37 this year. Fouls it away, 3-2. Worth will be off and running on this next pitch.
Like Jamie says, you can't defend a walk. So in a 3-2 situation, guy's been struggling, has got a lot of bats this year. Throw it in there and see what happens.
Worth goes. And there you go. Threw a fastball right down there. McLeod fouls it away. And Worth goes back to first. Inside, ball 4, and that'll put runners on first and second. Well, it started out as a pretty comfortable inning for Antonio Bastardo. Has changed in personality with the last 2 batters. And Ian Desmond is coming up. Desmond has a double tonight in his last at bat. And a foul tip, it's 0-1. Throw up 2 sliders. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes.
That last swing by Desmond looked like he wanted to hit off that Citizens Bank Park up by the scoreboard.
See what they do here. The 0-2 pitch. Ruiz wanted it in the dirt. It's ground ball to third. Ashe will take it to the bag. Side is retired. All right, last chance for the Phillies as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. They trail it by 2. It'll be the bottom of the order due up against Rafael Soriano when we return. Time now for our WB Mason deliveries of the game. Well, the deliveries took place in the 8th inning for the Nationals. Just one hit after another.
Yeah, it was. And Adam LaRoche faced it up the middle. Nice easy swing, driving the run in. But they came back with all these back-to-back hits. As Ian Desmond hits a double to right field. just under the outstretch of Marlon Byrd to right field. Jason West scores. LaRoche ends up going to third base. And the hit just kept on coming at him.
Those are our W. Mason deliveries of the game. Rafael Soriano throws his warm-up tosses as oddly as anybody I think we've ever seen. This is the 11th ball game. He's 5 for 5. That one he let go. The other two before that he just lobbed to the plate. 12 strikeouts in 10 innings. He's been fairly durable.
And what makes him such a tough closer and a tough guy to face is that his velocity is down from the past years. He maxed out about 92, but he can throw that hard slider 85, 86 mile an hour whenever he wants in the count and get dove for a strike.
Have you ever played on the same team with him?
No, I didn't.
I know you faced him, but it just seems like nothing phases him. Carlos Ruiz will lead it off in the first pitch to him. That's high. 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos's numbers against Soriano. You see the line score. The Phillies scored 3 in the first and a home run, but that's been it so far. They got a great performance. I shouldn't say great, but a solid performance from Cliff Lee tonight. 7 innings. 2 runs, 1 earned. But the bullpen could not hold it in the 8th. And now the Phillies are going to try to win it here in the 9th. 2-0 pitch. Pulled toward third, just foul. Nice play. Well, since 2010, Soriano's among the leaders in Major League Baseball in saves. Filled in for Mariano Rivera when he was injured with the Yankees. And then signed with the Nationals. Pitch for the Rays.
It's interesting seeing that 2-0 pitch that Carlos swung at it when you're down by 2 innings. Usually when you go up and face the closer, you want to take a strike, especially when you're down by 2 runs. Now down by 1, go ahead, it's game on, but you need that first guy on.
Carlos runs the count full 3-2. So 3-1 he takes after what you were just saying about 2-0. Yeah. You do need that first guy on. Outside ball 4. That means the tying run will come to the plate again for the Phils. Immediately after the game, stay tuned for Ricky Metallico's analysis of tonight's matchup between Cliff Lee and Steven Strasburg. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. Neither starter will fare in the decision here tonight. So Ruiz is at first. Ashe is up. Galva's out in the on-deck circle. Ashe has a couple hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. Fouls the first pitch off. It's 0-1.
Kind of interesting to see that Moore's holding Chooch on at first base, where Chooch's running really doesn't mean nothing. You want to play back off the bag and take that hole away from between second and first.
There's a grounder right side. Rendon has it. Espinosa has it. And the throw by Desmond sails over the head of Moore, but it hits the front of the camera well and stays in play. So I think they're saying, wait, are they saying Ruiz interfered at second base? That he slid late? The second base umpire, Sean Barber, says Ruiz slid late or was away from the base. I didn't see what happened. I was watching Ashe down the first base line.
There's the feed right there.
Well, he really never slid. He slid late. I don't know if Desmond would have had him. Carlos kind of went barreling into Desmond.
Get out there, Blue. Help your buddy out.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because usually if they somewhat make an attempt like that, well, he felt like he sort of dove into him feet first and didn't slide.
It was a late slide, but I think what got him was the hands threw it, made contact in the midsection of Desmond. They just ruled that was just a late slide of interference.
Yep, so the out is recorded at second and at first, despite the errant throw. Pretty emphatic call by Sean Barber. So now Galvis takes a strike. It's 0-1. He's the pinch hitter. Galvis is 0 for his last 22. Oh, 2. Pitch way upstairs, 1-2. Popped him up. Third base side. Rendon is there, and the Nationals have taken game 1 of the series. They come from behind to win it by a final score of 5-3. Rafael Soriano earns his 6th save in 6 opportunities. The Phillies waste 7 strong innings from Cliff Lee here tonight as they lose it. Their bullpen, 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, and a couple strikeouts. They are Chevrolet players of the game. Well, the tone was set early by the Phils. There was a lot of energy in the ballpark, more than 31,000 on hand. The Phils had a 3-2 lead going into the 8th inning, but could not hold on, and the Nationals take the first of this 3-game series. 5-3 the final score. We'll be back to talk a little bit more about it right after this from Citizens Bank Park.